Breaking news! A new episode of Let's Be Frank starting now!
Hello all, and welcome back to Tales from Japan, the series where I regale you of all the adventures Katrina and I took while in Japan. Today, I wanted to tell you guys about our experience at Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo Disney Sea. They are absolutely fantastic parks, and for two big Disney Parks fans like Katrina and I, it was an absolute, bucket list check off to get to go to these places. I'm gonna start by talking about Disneyland first, Tokyo Disneyland, and then we'll talk about Tokyo Disney Sea. That is the order we went to them, and I want to talk about my favorite Disney park last. So, let's go ahead and jump right in. Alright, so I'll just come out and say it. I have not been to Disneyland yet. That is the California Disneyland. Now, as of putting out this video, I will actually be going to Disneyland very soon. Hopefully I'll be able to put out a few shorts about that. I've been to Disneyland Paris and, of course, Walt Disney World. I have been to Disney World so many countless times, and I gotta say, when comparing it to Tokyo Disneyland, I think that our Magic Kingdom versus their equivalent of Disneyland it's a tough comparison, right? Magic Kingdom is just huge. It is massive. It's got tons of amazing rides. But Tokyo Disneyland has a ton of standout rides too. Like I said, it is hard to compare. Now, this video isn't meant to be some kind of in-depth analysis of the parks. I'm not going to sit there and compare ride to ride. This series is meant to be a bit of a quicker one. But I just want to sort of give out my highlights, When flashing up the picture of the Beauty and the Beast castle for the Beauty and the Beast ride, I'm sure a lot of you thought, yeah, that is the best ride at Tokyo Disneyland. The animatronics are superb. They are state-of-the-art, and some of the tricks that they use in that ride are incredible. I still, to this day, personally, do not know how they pull some of those off. Oh, and by the way, I am choosing to compare it mostly to Magic Kingdom because that's what a lot of these other parks are, right? Disneyland Paris, the main park, Disneyland itself, Tokyo Disneyland, they're all meant to sort of be Magic Kingdoms in a sense. Does that make sense? It makes sense in my head. Anyway, there are a few differences that Tokyo Disneyland has that our Magic Kingdom doesn't. For example, Walt Disney World no longer has a Toontown. Or maybe it never did. Do they call Mickey and Minnie's house and all those houses, do they call that Toontown? Regardless, there's a Roger Rabbit ride. That's a good alliteration. In Tokyo Disneyland, and I loved it. I very, very much enjoyed that ride. The vibe of Toontown in general was great. I loved it. I love living in a cartoon world. It's fantastic. Everything from the Monsters, Inc. ride, which was a ton of fun, again, wonderful animatronics, to their It's a Small World, which had a bunch of little Disney characters littered throughout. Apparently, some people don't like that. I thought it was charming. They're very, some of them are unintrusive. Some get their entire, show scene put together. But I think they're integrated very nice, and I don't see why they would be a problem. But I don't want to sit here and harp on every little ride, but everything was enjoyable. Just being in Tokyo Disneyland was enjoyable. The main entrance that's, covered and I think even air conditioned. I mean, it's so nice. So much nicer than Disney World's Main Street. I'll say that much at least. Oh, and this next part applies to Tokyo Disneyland and Disney Sea. The food was amazing. Katrina and I both really enjoyed the unique choices of food that these parks had. Curries and ramen. I mean, what more could you ask for? Those are pretty common staples in Japan, obviously, but I couldn't imagine finding ramen at any location in Walt Disney World that isn't like the Japan section at Epcot, you know? It is an absolute treat to get to eat so many different kinds of foods, including those little alien mochis we got to try. It's a treat, it's a treasure, and the food will always hold a special place in my heart, much better than our American Disney food. But with that, I want to now start talking about Disney Sea, because that is on a whole other level of impressive. Alright, so right off the bat, going into Tokyo Disney Sea, like the park itself, is like entering a whole new world. And I know that sounds corny, but it really does feel like you're being transported to a country that doesn't exist. Like, the landscape flows so seamlessly from, I don't even know what to describe it as, like the main gathering area before you hit the actual park feels like Islands of Adventure's port of entry. It's like at this own unique spot, you know, that is like the gateway to transporting you to Disney Sea itself. And as you're walking through the gates, you get to see the volcano off in the distance, and it's intimidating, it's exciting, and that is the first place Katrina and I went. We wanted to ride Journey to the Center of the Earth first. We got there super early, right when the park opened, and even still, there was a pretty decent wait for that ride. Everybody kind of knows that Journey to the Center of the Earth is one of the most popular rides at Disney Sea, and for a good reason. I don't want to spoil some of the things you see inside of there, but it is a fantastic ride, and it set the precedent for the rest of the day. And honestly, it just kept getting better and better. There were so many different themed, like, mini lands in Disney Sea. There was the Little Mermaid, like, castle area that was entirely indoors. There were so many fun little carnival type rides. There was an aerial show that I think was, we didn't get to see that, unfortunately. It was a little shut down. There was a whole restaurant in there. I mean, it was great. It was so cute, perfect for young children. There was an entire Agrabah themed to Aladdin. There was a great show that had the genie in it. It was like half screen, half live on stage. That was amazing, even though we couldn't understand what they were saying. We got the gist of it. And they have their, I don't even know what to call this, but where their Indiana Jones ride is, they have the big themed temple and some cool bridges and whatnot surrounding it. By the way, the Indiana Jones ride was everything I'd heard it was. It was a great ride, and I am very, very happy we're getting it in America. Tear down Dinoland USA. I don't care if that's an unpopular opinion. That place has got to go if it's going to give us our amazing Indiana Jones ride. And honestly, guys, despite being there for a whole day, open till almost close, there was still a lot of stuff we didn't get to do. We never got to do Disney Sea's Soarin', or their Tower of Terror, which I hear has a really good story to it. It introduces like a crap ton of lore that our Tower of Terror just doesn't have. Theirs probably goes by a different name even. And apparently there was this whole Sinbad ride we completely missed. I don't even know where that would have been. But guys, the next time Katrina and I go to Japan, because there will be a next time, we plan on coming back to the parks, both of them. I gotta ride Beauty and the Beast again at Disneyland. I've gotta go to the center of the earth once more at Disney Sea. And I've gotta do everything I didn't get to do last time. But I do think I've rambled on about these two parks long enough. Are you a big Disney fan? I sure hope so if you're watching this video. What's your favorite Disney park? Have you ever been to one outside of America? Let me know down in the comments below. Katrina and I have never been to China. So we've never been to Hong Kong or Shanghai Disney. Like I said at the beginning of the video, we'll be going to Disneyland, California very, very soon. But hey, listen, if you guys like this video, why don't you give it a like and subscribe if you have not already? Follow my Instagram and Facebook at Let's Be Frank 2020, and follow Jokum and I's podcast on Spotify or Apple Music, or hey, subscribe to this channel because it's here too. That's right. If you want more Pokemon than I already put out on this channel normally, listen to that podcast. You're gonna love it. But with all that being said, once again, thank you so very much for watching. Until next time.